What's up, people? We are back with more of Sound of Drop Fall into Poison. So in the previous video, holy crap, Mayumi managed to get back to basically sort of the current time and place, current dimension, however you want to call it. She got back to the very point of the beginning of the game where there was basically no crazy shit happening whatsoever in Manten Aquarium. Because if you watched any of the previous videos, weird shit happened there, but she actually managed to get back by completely stepping into, I don't know exactly what it was, but she tested it with like a bucket, throwing it in there, and then it disappeared halfway throughout the hallway or something. So she entered what I assume is some sort of warp thingy or portal or whatever, but she got back to the original place, and she's trying to find a way back, but she just can't. There's apparently no way of, or she can't find a way of going back into the crazed, weirded out Manten Aquarium. Alright, let's continue. After that, I search for Himeno until the building closes. But with a staff member hanging around me and urging me to go home, I am finally forced out. Slumping my shoulders, I tell the police what happened. Police? 5 days ago, Himeno's parents filed a missing persons report. Despite my frantic feelings, no news comes about Himeno. A clownfish. On my end, I haven't had any major accidents. In regard to myself, even outside the aquarium, I have begun to see fish. I trip over things that aren't there. I'm starting to feel like I'm going to drown. See, this is what I mean. What I'm talking about when I said that, I don't know, people that have been exposed to a specific certain thing or area in that other Manten Aquarium, they just somehow get consumed by it slowly, and the way that they see it happening is that they're sort of slowly drowning. It's what the feeling that they get, and they also see fishes around them where in places where they obviously should not be. Mom and everyone else are worried about me. For the past 3 days, it's been getting hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe. Finally, 1 week later, I'm in a bed. Yes, I've been admitted to a hospital near Manten. While the cause is unknown, my lungs seems to be failing. Now I can't breathe without a machine to assist me. I wonder how long I'll be hospitalized. As much as I love reading, I have grown tired of even that. From the hospital window, I can see the top of Manten East building. Himeno. Even though I want to speak her name, my voice won't come out. My trachea is just too weak for it. If I can, I want to eat ice cream once more. My beloved cookies and cream with my beloved Himeno. The future of the reckless. What? Okay, so that was a bad end? I totally didn't expect that to be a bad end. It makes sense though, because we've escaped out of it, but yeah, we don't really, because I feel like we're not that far into the game yet, we don't know the reason as to why this is happening, but I think the further we get into the game, we'll find out why this happens to people. Because when we read the diary in the previous video, this has happened to at least 2 other people, right? They just slowly started dying, or basically the same symptoms. They started seeing fish, they had the feeling that they were drowning, and slowly just started dying. I actually thought this was real. We made a good choice, but apparently not. So yeah, that was the future of the reckless. So in the very, like, after the first couple of bad ending videos, I thought like, yeah, it's all in order, but there seems to be no, there must be some particular order between all of this as to why like these are all missing, because I don't assume Misguided, which was one I think we got after the first 3, was suddenly down here, and I was confused as to why that was. But maybe it's depending on the particular road that you take out of the options. I have no clue whatsoever, but it's gonna be pretty hard to show all of the bad endings because of that, because I can't really keep track of all the bad choices that I've made in a row, for example, or the good choices. So I'm just gonna figure that all out at the end. I'm just gonna try and focus on finishing this first, because the story is really interesting, of course, because what the hell is actually going on? Sure, we've had clues here and there, and we know little bits and pieces here and there, but you want to know everything as to why this shit is happening at Manten Aquarium. So the very last option was there might be some value in using my own body to test it. That was that particular warp / portal, whatever you want to call it, that brought us back to the real world. So in that case, we were like, yeah, this is gonna be so awesome, we should try it. And then it actually turns out to be a very slow and painful death in the real world, and they're like, yeah, not as awesome as I'd imagined, but apparently the good option here is to go, no, I should stop. So we're gonna do that, because we have to stay in this Manten Aquarium, because you just can't really figure it out, as you saw pretty much from what happened out there, because we went to the police as well, and you just can't figure it out outside of being in this weird phenomena of Manten Aquarium. You have to be inside of it to figure it out, and to probably, hopefully, try and find a solution for it. Or at least escape. No, I don't know if escaping is even possible without dying, as you saw before. So yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get out of this mess, but we'll figure out a way. The test having gone well, it still isn't a guarantee that I can get back to the Manten Aquarium where phenomena are happening. Even if I succeed, I'll be separated from Himeno, but I'll definitely get home. I muttered to myself. It's strange, since it's as if I'm talking to the entrance gate, but it's a declaration of my resolve. As I move forward, I spot the Souvenir Shop. It makes sense as I'm going back the way I came, but it gives me mixed feelings. Mari? Huh? It is there that I witness an unexpected sight. The girl from earlier is standing in front of the Souvenir Shop, apparently lost in thought. So the coordinates where the doors lead has to be fixed by someone. Otherwise, there would be no way you would have come across me being attacked by the orca in the machine room. I don't really get what the girl who is reassuring herself is saying, so I changed the subject. Instead of just, trying to figure out what she's talking about, no, let's talk about something completely different. What's wrong? Did something happen at the Souvenir Shop? Just now, it looked like someone went inside. Someone? I don't know. It was just as they went in, but thanks to whoever it was, the coordinates are fixed on a safe place. It could have been Mari, your missing little sister, right? I'm sorry, but no, it was definitely an adult. I glance over at the entrance to the Souvenir Shop. Even as I peer through the semi-transparent wall, there are no human shadows. Still, if the person she saw walked through a door and moved to different coordinates, it wouldn't be strange for there to be no one in there. The girl said it was an adult. Could it have been? Could it be Hiyoshi-san? Hiyoshi? Who's that? Someone who saved me when I was caught up in the dangers of Manten Aquarium. He went crazy in a staff passageway, and I moved ahead on my own. After I explain as simply as possible what happened back then, the girl just nods and says, Well, he might have regained his sanity and found an exit, or he might be wandering around, still crazy. Whichever it is, I think it's worth checking out. Hiyoshi-san seemed like he knew things about Manten Aquarium. Well, why don't you go? I'll be waiting here. Huh? Aren't you coming with me? Got all the way to my throat before I gulped it back down. Either way, if he's not here, we might not be able to go through the door and return to the safe place. Right. I don't know this Hiyoshi-san's face, so it's better for you to go. Come back in 5 minutes. If you don't, you'll leave me? Of course. The two of us both dying or getting hurt would just be stupid. She's a little bit mean, but she has a point, but it's still mean. Meanie. You're mean. Don't expect me to take care of you, but you're my... Oh no, I have to take care of you because you're my little sister. I'm making the best choice. Anyway, if you die in there, Your friend dies too, so make sure to come back. You don't need to say that. I've already made up my mind to go. Well, I'll wait for you without worry. Okay. Oh, does it have to be so dark? Of course it does. Quietly, I open the door to the souvenir shop. The door closes on its own. Not that I had even tried to leave it open. Okay, so the door closes on its own. Then it makes sense, because the thing that I was wondering about earlier and really struggling as to how it would exactly work with the door, whether it was like the moment you step in it or you enter it or whatever, or when the door opens and closes, that you basically move into a different alternate dimension or timeline or whatever you want to call it. But apparently the door just closes on its own, so that makes more sense, of course. Thinking back on it, no matter what room I entered, the door always shut on its own. The lights aren't on, but I can still see where I'm going by the light shining through the transparent wall, or semi-transparent. The only thing I can't see is the girl, so that means we've already gone through a different time, replace, I don't know. The scenery visible from this room. It's just such weird terminology to use for this. I don't know the exact terminology to use for this, basically, because it's so weird, obviously. But yeah. The scenery visible from this room seems to reflect the time distortion affecting this room as well. The fact that I've become this used to these strange phenomena is a little weird, even to me. The souvenir shop hasn't changed that much from how I remember it. Numerous shelves are arranged so that the purpose of each is visible. There are some more confectionaries, stationaries, and stuffed animals. The keychain and cell phone straps are in a place that stands out. Since I can't find any calendars or magazine, I don't know how many years ago, or from now, this is. Inside the glass balls, on the shelves are specimens of shrimp and jellyfish, their prices high. Maybe this is the present. As one might expect, there is no sign of a shopkeeper. I walk the perimeter of the store in a semicircle. I study the room carefully, but I find nothing. There are so many things that catch my interest, but I can't seem to get interested in picking them up and looking them over closely. That crystal-like necklace, the seal stuffed animal. Right now, I have no interest in orca or jellyfish merchandise. Now I know how a dog being made to wait for a treat feels. I should check over here as well. I go behind the cash register counter, where I normally wouldn't be allowed to look. This is the staff's. It's what you would call a back room. There are boxes full of products, a safe, and even employee uniforms. We should put one on. It looks similar to the staff room where the girl and I saw the diary, only this room is more narrow. Staff room. Inside the back room, I find a door. Since this is a place for bringing in merchandise, it makes sense that there would be a passageway connected to it somewhere else. I reach out to see for myself, but it's locked. No good, huh? As I turn back, thinking that this has been fruitless, I find something. A lanyard with an ID card. It's been thrown onto the ground, so I pick it up and take a closer look. I strain my eyes in the darkness. It bears the name Hiyoshi Kenji. Hiyoshi-san, Kenji-san. Obviously, if we call him Kenji, it's gonna be like that we consider him a good friend that we know better. So it's a less formal way of mentioning his name, I guess, calling him. Because Hiyoshi-san is probably how people that aren't that familiar with him would call him, but his close friends call him Kenji-san. We're his close friends, right? Even though he tried to kill us. Yeah, he saved our life. Good enough to call him Kenji-san. This is Kenji-san's. It's the same as the employee ID card that Hiyoshi had before. Funny that we call him Kenji-san here, but every time in the text it always just says Hiyoshi-san. That Hiyoshi-san had before we entered Manten Aquarium. There's no picture on it, so it's just words, but I remember it. The card is spotless. Unexpectedly, he's showing some propriety. So Hiyoshi-san has been here. Does that mean the one the girl saw was him? Could it be that he headed for somewhere else from this room, but he was able to lock the door? When I entered the souvenir shop, he was already on his way out, and I only came after he had locked the door. I had just missed him. I don't think there's anything else important here. I'll go back and tell that girl. I say that just as I realize it's almost been 5 minutes. I'm so glad this is a safe place. I don't think it is. As if in reaction to the fact that I'm leaving, the sound of a dull thunk echoes. Kya! Uh-oh. I let out a small scream. The sound is that of something falling. Even in the gloom, I can make out the outline of what fell. What? It's just a frog. Not what? There shouldn't be frogs in the souvenir shop. The proof of its identity in the shitty shiny exterior that doesn't belong to an ornament or a toy. It's a large toad. I think it's the appropriately named giant toad. The reason I know about it is because of a TV show was talking about it recently. The story about how in Australia the toad had been imported for pest control, but before they realized it, its population had increased and was disrupting the ecosystem. Characteristics of this species is a gland on the back of its head that looks like a wart, from which it seems they can inject venom or eject. This venom was cited as the cause for alligators and other native species being killed. Dang, that's so badass. A little tiny toad like that can kill a freaking alligator? That's right. Poison! What bad luck. I think as I clench my fist, but it's only one. I put a little more space than necessary between us in order to avoid the giant toad. That way, even if there's another lurking nearby, I should be okay. The shells become a wall for me. Even though frogs have the ability to jump, they shouldn't reach that height. It's really loud for being just one toad, making a quack, quack, quack sound rather than a normal croak. Quack, quack, quack. Although it's poisonous, hearing its cry in a safe place like this makes me think of it as cute. Even though I think that, I can't be careless. A plopping sound resonates once more. The toad cries out, going from a death rattle-like sound to thin breathing, then finally a pause. It soon resumes with an even lower voice than before. What? What? What the hell, tiny baby toad? I take a look where the toad was. Ah, it's nothing less than ghastly. The toad has been crushed by another frog that has fallen from the ceiling. Its 4 legs are widespread. What the hell? Its internal organs leaking from its abdominal due to the fall. But that isn't all. The second frog has the wide striped pattern characteristics of a certain type, but I don't know its name. When the other frog fell onto the giant toad, it stimulated the gland, so naturally poison leaked out. At the edge of its right foot, its toads have begun melting. Aww, I was wondering, like, it's a giant toad the toad that was apparently like dying on the floor is so much more bigger than the one that fell on top of him. So why would he get squished or die from that? But apparently the gland is really sensitive, so yeah, he fell on top of that and that leaked out the poison, and then just he got poisoned himself basically, and the other little toad as well. Oh gosh, to actually begin melting? No way! The frog's poison isn't acid, it paralyzes or acts as a neurotoxin. If it gets in your eyes, you can lose your eyesight, but basically it's for catching prey by poisoning it to death. This poison is different and more brutal. However, the second frog is even more menacing. As if taking vengeance for the right leg it's lost to the poison, it secretes its own venom. The toad's corpse puts up no resistance, its body steadily melting away. I pinch my nose at the mixed stench of the dead body and the acid. Even as my spine grows cold, the room steadily becomes humid, most likely due to the breath of the living creatures in the room. The sight of the frog melting away from the poison is enough to cause bile to rise up in me for a moment. But there's no way I can look away from it. Beyond the fact that I don't know what's going to happen next, I have to pay attention as I head for the exit. I look up at the ceiling, but there's no sign that I'm being followed by any frogs. It's as if they fell from nowhere. If one falls on me, it means this place isn't safe anymore. Right, gotta get out of here. I speed up as I head for the exit. The reason I don't break into a full run is because I know I might trip or fall at a time like this. Plop, plop, plop. A nearby sound fills me with fear and despair. What? Oh my god, so many little toads and big ones too. Frogs fall right in front of me. 3, 4. It becomes difficult to count them. Just as I panic and attempt to turn back, I hear noises from behind me. Quack, quack. They begin to speak in unison. The frogs are actually singing in a round, but I hate that they sound so joyful. Hearing the frogs' croaks on either side of me leaves me with nothing but fear. If I step on one of them, the poison will probably dissolve my foot. That being said, there isn't enough room to leap over them, and if I do, one of them may jump up and touch me. Here comes the choice. As if preparing to attack me while I'm off guard, their numbers increase even further. Crowded into such a small space, they are melting each other's bodies with their poison. I avert my eyes from the damaged frogs. As the danger increases, it's not a tragedy I can continue to watch. As the amount of bodily fluids on the floor increases, the frogs who step into puddles of poison have their toes melted off. Then they secrete their own fluids, and the cycle repeats. What? That's a vicious cycle. Basically, just because poison is there, someone steps in there, they release their own poison, and that poison gets sucked up by or someone else steps into that, so they're just all poisoning each other basically. Holy crap. On top of that, there are those whose bodies are melted by their own poison as well. Somehow suppressing whatever is welling up inside of me, I finalize my plan. Over here! I pull some merchandise off the shelf with my hand and make some space. The original 2 are still left, but it's better than being surrounded. I step out onto the floor and leave the shelf. To keep them from reproducing anymore, quickly! No! What the hell? Different colored ones. Blue, green, red, I mean yellow. As if they had been lying in wait. Numerous frogs fall from every which way. They are small creatures with shrill voices. Red, yellow, green, and striped and varied. The intense amount of color saturation is making me feel sick. I know this variety of frog well. Among poisonous frogs, it is the most infamous types. A poison dart frog. Even under normal circumstances, it carries deadly poison stronger than that used in blow darts. If the strength of that poison has been taken to intense levels like the other creatures here, it could probably instantaneously melt even my bones. What? Should I? There is still a distance between the door and I. 3 steps, then god damn it, take those 3 steps. No matter what, I can't take those 3 steps. There is no way for my feet to land. The floor is covered with the squishy bodies of the frogs and their acidic, poisonous fluids, as well as the corpses of those frogs that have melted themselves. Not knowing where they're coming from, there's nothing I can do. Even the sweat falling from my forehead seems like venom to me, as if some kind of illusion. Shh! I don't want to see it, as if nothing else can be done. But you're slow. A light suddenly shines through the darkness. The soft breeze blowing in through the crack returns me to my senses. Cover your eyes. Fire extinguisher? Immediately after saying this, the girl pulls the pin from the fire extinguisher she's holding. The entire inside of the souvenir shop is filled with the smoke from the fire extinguisher. A fire extinguisher! But now we can't jump over the frogs! I can see what's going on. This isn't all. Almost in sync with the girl's words, the sprinklers activate. A large amount of water immediately sprays out, an even greater amount than the strongest rain striking my body. Ah! When I open my eyes, the girl reaches out her hand with a firm expression. Thank you, Mari. While the water's running, even if you get hit with a little venom, it will wash right off. Don't be afraid. Just run for it. If you fall, you'll die. The floor is soaked. I might slip. At that moment, I falter, and I'm gonna listen to Mari. She knows what she's doing. She's clearly more badass than Mayu, so we're gonna run straight through. Got it! I have no time for doubt. I run for it through the rain from the sprinklers. Gah! I try to run without looking at my feet. The sensation of squishing the slippery meat continues. The liquid that gets scattered about with a squirting sound is washed off in the rain. Just 3 steps. That's just a moment. 1, 2, 3. Bam! Made it. I think. Ah, idiot. With one last step, I stumble. The girl grabs me with her extended hand and pulls me out. I collapse, but it's outside of the souvenir shop. The door is already closed. There are no frogs anywhere. Thank you. But it's already been more than 5 minutes. So why? I catch my breath. I express my thanks to the girl. She can't let her older sister die. I just remembered that I owe you a debt. You are kind. I might have misjudged you a bit. You didn't misjudge me. If you had hesitated any further, I would have closed the door. But you believed in me, right? That I could do it. You're going to drive me nuts, so stop it with that stuff. Expressionlessly, the girl says this in a flat tone. Holding on to this gentle feeling, I prepare to move on. Speaking honestly, I want to rest here like this. My clothes are soaked, and I've used up a lot of my strength. However, it feels like if I were to really relax, I might never get up again. If I don't keep my momentum, I can't save Himeno. I'm able to gain some relief from resting against the wall. The girl who rescued me seems to be resting just like I am. Ah, this gacha is... As we are resting against the wall, I realize that the type of gacha situated in front of the souvenir shops have changed. How ironic. 5 years ago. What do you mean? You said it yourself, that your sister went missing 5 years ago. You remembered. Of course, how can she not? She's your goddamn sister. Inside the gacha machines, there are many keychains. They all have charms with various creatures attached to the droplets. The link between Mari and I, and now the item of my memories that links Himeno and I as well. My little sister. Her name is Mari. I didn't ask. You see, 5 years ago, we had an argument over keychains. Mari wanted my jellyfish one, but I wouldn't trade it with her. She disappeared, sulking. Still didn't ask. I have this one. I take the keychain that I had received from Himeno out of my pocket. It's the one with the starfish attached to the droplet. Huh? As I hold it out to the girl, I realize there's something attached to the back. That's the picture... What? But that's the picture of Mari in the winter coat. A picture printed on a sticker. It's a pretty old sticker at that. A small girl and a man embracing her. The two of them are smiling and seem to be having a lot of fun. The man, who is wearing a suit and seems quite serious, is probably her father. The words Manten Aquarium run along the picture's border. The souvenir shop had a sticker photo booth, so I'm sure they took this picture there or here. What? Why is she saying like her father rather than our father? Because they're sisters, right? What? Or did they have a different father? That's a possibility as well. More than anything else, I'm disturbed by the fact that the girl in the picture looks like Mari, so she doesn't think this is Mari. It's not just her face, but her long hair and it smiled too. As her big sister, this girl seems like she could be Mari's twin. Oh, mind fucked right there. Are you serious? Hey, that's... Pointing to the keychain, the girl speaks. My consciousness is yanked back from my memories. What is it? The girl's gonna say it's hers. I'm almost certain. I ask the girl as she shows interest in the keychain, but I receive no response. Her averted eyes tell me nothing. Your little sister, she went missing here, right? Uh-huh? Yeah. The girl suddenly changed the subject back, leaving me a bit flustered. She doesn't press any further with questions. It's the same with my dad. Huh? But in my case, I know he's dead rather than missing, so it's different. I know he was murdered. Your father was murdered? I can't grasp the detached way the girl is speaking. She's talking about her own family member, but the girl's completely apathetic. She has the calm of someone reading a newspaper article out loud. Well, I'm going now. But I haven't heard of all the girl's story yet, and if things get like they were before, it will be better if there are two of us. The words won't come out right, but the state of panic I'm in should be enough to express what I want to say. However, the girl stands her ground to the end. When I'm with you, you hold me back. Hold you back? What do you mean? If dying is what it takes for me to learn the truth, then that's fine. You could never resolve yourself to that. Fine? With dying? You can't let yourself die. Shut up. Shut up? You're awful. You have that friend Himeno, right? If you die, what happens to her? I have no idea whether or not this is her way of trying to encourage me. However, I understand what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that each of us is on our own. And we both have different goals that we want to accomplish as well. Let's become friends. That way you can't say so easily that you're fine with dying, right? That part of you is exactly what I meant when I said you hold me back. Without answering my question, the girl pushes me away. Swiftly turning her back on me, the girl walks on ahead. What should I have done? I stay where I am until the girl's back becomes so small I can no longer see it. Well, I'm gonna end the video here. Holy crap. Things get more and more weird and mysterious, man. Like, the way she was talking about a girl, I mean, my intuition and like my first reaction to seeing that picture of the little girl was like, it is the same exact girl that she saw at the very beginning of the, like, she saw a ghost of a little girl running around, right? Which was at the very beginning of the story. And then she chased that little girl, thinking it was Mari. But when she sees that exact same girl in the exact same winter coat and whatnot on a picture, she then suddenly refers to it as someone else and not Mari, which is weird because they were exactly the same people, right? Or at least they look exactly the same. They could be, as mentioned, twins or whatever. I don't freaking know. Maybe moving through time or different dimensions has created a copy of her or whatever. I don't know, but it's just weird that she suddenly referred to that person that she at the very beginning referred to as Mari, then refers to as someone completely different, and then says, she looks like Mari, maybe they're twins. But yeah, I have no idea. I'm starting... At first I said 95% sure that that other girl was Mari. I'm still leaning towards perhaps 80 at this moment, but because of that, my assurance, or just how sure I am of things, of that girl being Mari, has decreased a little bit because of that. But yeah, holy crap, those toads were pretty freaky. But it seemed like she is a good person after all. Like, yeah, okay, she said she did it because she owed us a debt to save our life as well, but still, she could have not as easily just not kept it, right? So yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you all so very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!